On the occasion of USA 246th Independence Day, here are some interesting historical facts that even Americans doesn't know. So, let's start. In reality, Congress voted on 2nd July to end the British control over America. However, John Hancock signed the Declaration of Independence for the first time on July 4th in an effort to publicize the vote. The Declaration of Future Independence from British control was signed by 56 men. No, it was not the first President George Washington who lived in White House. But it was John Adams and his wife Abigail who lived there first. However, Washington did supervise the building of the White House, but he never lived there. Its construction started in 1792, but it wasn't inhabited until 1800. Each president who has occupied the White House has added their own improvements and modifications, since Adam. They did, after all, reside there. No position in the United States of America is statistically more dangerous than that of the president. Consider this: 45 men have held the position. Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, James A. Garfield, and William McKinley were assassinated in office, while 4 expired from natural causes: William Henry Harrison, Zachary Taylor, Warren Harding, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, during their term. That amounts to a rate of over 18%, or roughly 1 out of every 5 who died on the job. With those kinds of figures, would you submit a job application? The Statue of Liberty, which is displayed on almost every piece of tourist souvenirs available in the Big Apple, is not truly in New York City. Technically, it is located in Jersey City, New Jersey. It is also unknown that in October 1886, France gave the United States a copper statue as a gift. Washington, D.C. wasn't always the nation's capital. According to the Residence Act mandated that Philadelphia serve as the temporary capital of the newly formed United States of America from 1790 to 1800 while Washington, D.C. was being constructed. The city of Philadelphia still contains many famous remains of early American history. You've probably heard stories about how weirdly various prohibition laws were enforced, but it turns out that the American government actually poisoned alcohol in an effort to discourage drinking. Law enforcement officers became angry when people continued to drink despite the prohibition of it and decided to adopt a different deterrent: death. Industrial alcohols made in the US that were frequently stolen by bootleggers were poisoned on their orders. It is estimated that at least 10,000 individuals died as a result of the federal poisoning operation by the time Prohibition ended in 1933. Robert Heft, then 17 years old, created America's country present 50-star flag as a part of a high school assignment. Heft had a feeling that Hawaii and Alaska will soon be granted statehood even though there were only 48 states at the time, in 1958. You would be mistaken if you believed that Ben Franklin and the other founders came up with the Constitution on their own. In fact, they based it on the Iroquois Confederacy of Native American Tribes Constitution. Believe it or not, but it's true. There is a single resident in Monowai, named as Nebraska, is 83 years old. She serves as mayor, librarian, and bartender of the city. She goes by the name Elsie Eiler, pays her own taxes, and considers residents who live 40 miles away to be her neighbors. New Amsterdam, the name given to the settlement by the Dutch who settled in Manhattan, existed before New York was, well, New York. Later in the 17th century, after those pesky English took it, is when New York's name really took shape. The name, New York, was to pay tribute to Duke of York who helped in capturing it. The majority of people believe that Columbus arrived in North America, but you will be shocked to know that he never set foot on the continent. Columbus only traveled to the Caribbean islands and certain areas of Central and South America. The Liberty Bell, which is still standing and is one of the USA's most iconic symbols of independence, is still there for us to see. The Liberty Bell was actually created in the same factory where Big Ben was built in London, which is an interesting and rather rare fact. Both bells were produced by the Whitechapel Bell Foundry, one of the world's oldest privately owned bell manufacturers. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please share and subscribe the channel. Press the bell icon for regular notifications. At last but not least, Happy Independence Day to all the Americans out there.